Yeah, and you're playing Vagar. Okay. The answer with Jarvan, Varus. Okay, right? Right now, we have two options because they've picked Jarvan. We can either go something that will play to deny the Jarvan from going in. So like yeah, a Vagar, Cassio, and Nivea, Talia work.
I think I
Then we
was
also have
proposing
Varus.
Vagar and Talia in this position,
Okay.
and I think the team said Vagar, and I was like, okay, Vagar.
Ezreal, Karma, Nautilus. The only issue with picking Vagar here and then later on the Ornn on B5 here is that now you're committing to 3 scaling lanes. Or sorry, 3. Well, yeah, actually, yeah, it is scaling lanes. Yeah, so this is a really awkward position for the Xin to play through because you have a scaler in Ezreal who needs to play for what?
Like Triforce or like
Well, 2-item spike, right? Like we
yes,
would just denote
like
that like 2
Triforce,
items. So like
Manamune.
yeah, Sheen and Tier. And now you are committing on what? What is
It's
Vagar's win con?
like cute, like AP sacking.
Yeah, like stacks, right? And then what is Ornn's commitment on?
It's like
He can obviously spike earlier, but what is his
it's like the ornaments.
rate? So we talk about what?
Like
When would we hit ornaments for team?
sorry, what was that?
When are we hitting ornaments for team? Because that is his spike. That is the value that he's bringing to
Is
the team.
it what is it 14 through 16? Is it
13.
13?
Yeah, it's 13. So it would be so already, right? We're committing to somewhat of like a mid game spike here. We can definitely have play through early. It's just that into like their comp, which wants to play for early lethality slash poke, the Akali, obviously with the Gunblade, and then later on with the Gwen, with the Riftmaker into a Dusk and Dawn. It's a little tricky to play from this angle. It's not impossible, and I'm sure that you guys actually would probably win this, only because they're picking like low mobility, somewhat low mobility without W. It's just really tricky to play Vagar on this angle. But all your information so far that you're going off of is just with these 4 picks. So I do like the Vagar here because, you know, they're 3 low mobility right now into a Jarvan that once he is in your cage, pretty much he's dead against the poke. I like the Vagar angle here. It's just keep in mind that you have 3 scaling lanes. So even if you want to push and extend your priority in lane, you're not going to have the easiest time to do it, especially if there's not going to be that much follow up as you'd hope.
Okay, makes sense.
For the sake of brevity, if you don't mind too, I'm just going to speed it up.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
There we go. We're going to see the Vigar waddling. Okay,
Yeah.
so just want to go back here. So we're playing for stacks. You're playing for first strike. In this comp, right? Are you trying to shove out the Akali, or are you trying to play in and force her to stay so you get value off of first strike?
So my thoughts was I would get wave control level 1 because I'm range and I can hit the wave earlier. And then once it bounces back, I can kind of keep it in front of me so that I can safely stack and not really be threatened and like zoner from like CS and keep her behind
So you're
that way.
playing on a slow shove, right? So you're playing on a slow shove.
Yes.
So when you're playing on a slow shove and you're going first strike, just off of the basis of first strike, what is our item typically? We're playing for either 2 items here. We're
I
either going to be playing for
for
Ludens,
uh-huh.
right? So we're playing to immediately have enough mana reserves that we can slow shove. So that we can get value off of poking with the Q and getting value on either stacks or first strike. Or second, we're looking for protobelt so that we can sort of play for here and there poke, but also have a little bit of safety. Into this draft that we had looked over earlier, I think honestly going the Summoner Airy would have been better here.
Okay.
Only because then you're forcing the Akali out and she does not have priority to play on you. If
Okay.
Akali's HP is low, what does that mean for Jarvan opportunity on ganks?
It's quite low.
Right, because there's no follow-up. There's no residual damage on you. Versus if she is still in the lane and she has the availability to drop the shroud and then play within the queue, she can just wait out your E essentially. She can wait out your cage. You
Yes.
drop cage on her, she doesn't get immediately tagged on the perimeter. She just drops W, and now your W or your sorry E is going to time out before her shroud is done. And so you have to now play a guessing game of where exactly your Q is going to land
I
and where
did
your
run
W is
into
going to
this
land on top of
problem.
her. See? But that's a good problem to have because it's a learning experience. And so this is just my thought process here, and maybe we can disagree. But for me, the value of first strike is basically minuscule because their champion doesn't want to interact with yours. You're picking this champion because again, we're identifying the low mobility, low mobility, low mobility denial, right? That's a P. I'm looking for a D. There we go. But the issue here is that she can just wait out like your basic spells to zone her off. The zone is not as strong as you'd think because you're looking for a little bit of gold value, but the actual pressure value is what matters the most because you're picking Vagar for that pressure, right?
Uh-huh.
And so if you don't have mid shove, then what pressure are you able to exert in running with a Xin Zhao?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? So
Yes.
you don't have wave shove. So how does Xin Zhao actually convert his tempo off of clearing camps if you are not able to walk cross with him?
Yeah. I have a question. So you said you think
Sure.
Airy is better, and Airy is better
Yes.
because it procs
Summoner Airy
so
would
easily and the damage
exactly.
you get from it is more
Exactly.
meaningful
And
than
with
first
the
strike.
Airy, 100%. And with the Airy, then it opens us up to a multitude of different ways that we can build. We can either build Roa into the Crypto Bloom, which is typically what we're seeing right now for meta for Vagar, only because, again, he's trying to play for that late game scaling versus rushing the Ludens, rushing the Protobelt, as I had mentioned earlier. If we are going first strike, we have to go Ludens or Protobelt in tandem because we are looking for all ins.
That makes sense.
Because what value do we get off first strike if we are not actively trading heavy?
Yeah, that makes a lot of
But
sense.
thing is, right? With all that being said, those two scenarios, either trading heavy with first strike or playing for stacks with Summoner, Airy, and Roa and whatever, can we do the trading heavy into the Akali?
We could, but it makes the matchup very volatile.
Right. But at the same time, what does she have that will deny us from doing an all in?
Oh, like the Shroud.
Yeah. Can we ult when she's in Shroud?
No.
So there goes already our burst. If we want to lead in with R and then follow up with a quick Q, can we actually do that if she drops Shroud? No, we'd only land the Q.
Yes, makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool.
I really love this position, by the way. This is a beautiful play that you just did with Kitty, where you're trying to fake out the pressure. So she can only cover one side. Either she gets a Q on you or she gets a Q on him. I really like how we're just dropping that. Instead, though, if I were you, right, we don't want to give off of the facade. Because right here, right? Just give me a second.
Oh, that we
Oops,
got the
sorry about that.
ward? Like I should
Yes,
keep
because
up?
you're
Yeah.
playing here, right? Your zone of warding is, and this is going to be very, very rough, so full apologies. But let's assume that your zone, fuck, that's a horrible circle, but let's assume that
I
your
get the
zone is
idea.
this,
Yeah.
right? So how on earth does that explain the ward here?
Yeah. So now they know that Jinja
So
warded
so
that.
that's a big thing that I always try to preach towards like my bot lane friends, where whenever we're doing sessions, I'm always inciting that if you can try not selling that this extra person in your lane has dropped the ward. So in the circumstances of bot, let's assume Kitty's trying to gank here and he has a pink ward. He can drop the pink ward on try and now reveal that somebody else is here in this general area if Karma and Ezreal are in the middle of the lane. Right? It's like 1+1 = 2. If I see both of the laners in the lane and now suddenly there's a pink ward that's spawned in try, my brain's going to say somebody is bot lane. Versus now, if Karma is hovering that point,
Yes.
Kitty drops the pink and Karma now is destroying the ward. They are under the assumption that Karma's the one who placed the
Yes.
ward.
I've done that before when I was jungling. I would ask the support to
Yes,
sweep so that I could get the gank because they wouldn't think that I
exactly.
would be there if I just have the karma
it's
sweep
it's
instead.
all
Yeah.
about it's all about a circumstance called selling the play or
Yeah.
selling the intent. Right now the intent for you is to ward or get some type of pressure on Raptors. It's either choice 1 or choice 2. Kitty's intention right now is just one choice to ward this. But what you need to do is now you need to now connect with Kitty and have that exact same intention. So
Mm-hmm.
not only can you do that pressure, but you also can fake the ward
Mm-hmm.
because you can now hold your ward. This is fine for you to hold your ward and ward towards bot side just to get the absolute peak of your tracking. You just shove in the first wave and then just quickly waddle over to blue and then ward and you're fine. Um, but yeah, again, you're just selling the play here subconsciously
Yeah.
because your area of warding is not comparative to Kitty's at all.
Yeah.
And so now, indirectly, they know exactly Xin has no ward and he might just be playing topside because the timer's really messed for him to play the Raptors here.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And plus, if you wanted to go for that big of a shove here, what you can do is if you don't want to use your ward and if the intention already is Zinzao's going to drop his ward, what you now need to do is you need to cover his Raptors with your ward. That way you're denying the vision control yourself. Now you might ask, how is that denying if they actually get a ward down? It's because Kitty now can dynamically path from his top side into red from below. He might lose a couple seconds here and there, but that opens him up for much more play compared to he walks through Raptors. Because right now, you gain one piece of information, but you lose one piece. So your net gain is 0. Does
Yes,
that make sense?
I think we did have some games in the tryouts where I actually did place the ward in the like bottom entrance jungle. So yeah,
Yeah,
that
because
that
right now
that makes sense.
there is no net gain of vision control, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So remember, right? We are going for a strike here. And so we are looking for optimal trading / we are looking for poking out on these circumstances where you're able to like just walk up. Why is she walking away from you? What do you have advantage of?
I have range.
Yeah, exactly, right? You want to play your range. We play in between the range. Even if it's first wave, this is the circumstance that top laners do all the time where
Uh-huh.
they are playing with their range abilities early. She does not have kunai, she does not have shroud, so she literally has to walk up and queue the wave as she's going to do here for this one central minion.
Mhm.
Versus you can easily zone her off with just autos or the Q and then walk back to auto this.
Okay.
Now obviously, we're optimally looking for, as you just did, that 2 stack on 1 Q, but you're still going to get value off of poking her out because
Yeah.
this is exactly what we want off of the first strike. And whenever she doesn't have kunai like that, or sorry, whenever she doesn't have the Q like that,
Yeah.
what you now need to do is walk up because
Yes.
she has a cooldown.
Yeah.
Nice, good Q trades. Yeah, just like this. Go for that optimal poke whenever she's dropping Q in front of you. The beauty of League 2 is that we can see resource bars for our opponents. And so her kunai, on average, is going to be costing you way more than your Q, because your Q is at base level 30, and you start with a reserve of 500 mana. Hers, I believe, and don't quote me, is I think it's like 240. Let me just quickly check that.
I have no idea. You could say any number and I'll believe you.
Yeah. Like even though she has a 1.5 second, it's like 40
Yes.
energy, I'm pretty sure, for Q. And so like she's going to run out of her resource quicker than you would comparatively.
Yeah.
And so already too, right? So we can't allow her to have the shove, so that's why you want to be pressuring her early. If you do pressure early, obviously that poses the question now, can Jarvan not just gank me? Yes, but remember off of the prior play how we warded Raptors? You still have free ward here, and you have the potential now to ward out this bottom side brush. All you now need to do in lane is you need to actively look to sorry, I'll just make this a little thicker. You now need to actively exert some pressure so that this side of the river is completely open for you to walk through and not get punished with Q. Because let's say right now, if you were to just walk adjacent to it, you're going to get punished because her opportunity to Q you or walk up to you is much quicker comparatively than you have to walk all the way to her.
Mhm. So you're saying I'm playing too defensive here? Like we already got the ward
100%.
on the Raptors. I have a
100%.
ward to use. I'm not utilizing it and using the pressure window that I have and kind of just wasting the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. So like even though I'm not like losing, I'm not pushing, advantage that
Right
I
now,
could get.
you're subconsciously thinking of stacking, which is great because again, remember from step one, that is what we are looking for on this champion. But you're also dropping the actual thought process of my champion has this interaction with their champion. You're thinking too much about micro win con versus how do I do a macro win con.
Mm-hmm.
Mid lane is all about mind games in terms of how we can exploit an opponent's weakness, whether it's champion, whether it's how they're playing their champion, macro wise, their rotations, wave states. And right now, you are dropping the champion micro, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So I should have, like, in your opinion, I should have had more of a shove, like maybe throw.
More of a shove, but even before then, play more to get more of this HP down. Force her to use a pot.
Mm-hmm.
Because will she have better sustain in this lane than you? Resource wise, let's assume that let's assume that we're not poking at all on her, right? Let's assume that her HP is always at 100, your HP is at 100. Will she have better resources than you management wise?
Yes, because energy
Yeah.
is infinite.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Energy is infinite. Now, we could, I guess, say, okay, I'll just auto the minions eventually and stuff like that. But she is still going to have a faster shove later on if there's no pressure on her.
Yeah.
Because your Q stops at 2, your W would splash, but at the same time, like, she can just keep spamming Qs because her energy will come up way faster and more often than your 30 mana eventually.
Yeah. If I'm
And so, right,
question,
go ahead. Yeah.
if I'm in auto attack range, am I not in threat of a colleague queue?
Well, that's a trick question because if you're in Q range, you'd be in threat of a Kali auto. Because remember, her Q is going to give her enhanced movement speed if
Yes.
she lands any ability on you. So that's a passive ability.
Right.
So the way that you're structuring that question is actually the reverse of that.
Okay. So, but I guess that's why you're saying whenever she queues, that's when I need to walk up in
Yes.
auto, because that's the
Yes.
like cooldown window. It's very
Walk
similar
up
to like if
auto,
Oriana
walk up.
QWs, Syndra QEs, it misses. That's when you walk up.
Right. 100%.
Okay.
It's like you play Victor as your second best. When Victor does not have the void field, the W, do you have threat now to play all in on him?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Because now he has no defensive tool aside from the E upgrade, sorry, the Q upgrade for shield.
Yeah.
He does not have a way to stop you from going forward. Your big thing is how is a colleague going to get stopped? She needs to respect your Q and your W. So let me explain this. Let me just break it down. So your Q acts as zone control. Your W is punish. Now, Coach Crimson, how is my W punish? If the minions are low, right, and she has to respect your Q zoning, what does she do instead?
Sorry. Say that one more time.
No worries, no worries.
If the minions are
Let's
low.
establish, right, your Q is a zoning piece.
Yeah.
She's scared of your range, correct?
Yeah.
Your W in this matchup is a punish. It can be to take minion, sure, but it's a punish. How is it a punish?
Mm, I'll be honest. I don't know.
All right. So the W is a punish because if the minions are low, right, and you've used your Q, that's her opportunity to walk up,
Oh,
correct?
I just W
Now,
on the minion that she wants
well,
to see
not
us.
on the minion of where she has to be to actually Q it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So that is your easy punish where she has to actively walk into the W if you've timed it right. She actively has to walk in, and it's an easier way to actually land this now ability. Again, assuming you're not just wasting it on minions or whatever, but it's an easier ability to land as opposed to
Yes.
guessing where exactly
You
she's
have to
going to
make her
go.
pick. She has to either trade the
Exactly.
energy or her health for
Exactly.
the minion.
Exactly. And that's the choice right now. And I'm glad that you're making that bridge. That's the choice right now that you are not offering.
Yes, that makes
When
sense.
you're not queuing her, when you are not whittling down this HP, you are essentially trying your best to go long in this lane. Do you want to play long as Vagar in this lane?
No,
Right? Why?
because I have limited mana pool for one. Uh,
Because this is our spike in early laning, right? this is essentially what we're trying to play for.
Mm-hmm.
We're essentially trying our best to play for the 1300 spike. And right now, as you are like going forward, right? So she does this. The second she uses Shroud is now your opportunity to trade Q into her. And so, see, you're still paying respect to it because you're scared, sort of like, I need to hit my level 3 in order to actually like do anything to her. Do you see
Okay.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
do you see kind of how she has so much prio on this lane? And now you actively, because of like the very unfortunate and awkward kind of stance on level 1 and 2, you're actively now needing to walk through her Shroud.
Yeah.
And she has all this exerted pressure on you. And now, in the span of, let's say, 30 seconds or so, you've just lost all your early game prio that you had.
Yes.
So right here, she was level 2 for a hot minute. Not literally, but let's see. She hits level 2 here on this minion. Okay? Now she's watching exactly how you're playing and she's reading it.
Uh-huh.
And now she notes that you're not zoning her with Q, and she's going to quickly assume here too that you have W. And so that's when she goes on the offensive. And right here too, when she's walking back outside of the Shroud, that was a free opportunity to W her. It's just all these like micro trades that we can get. We're just not fully going for it
Uh-huh.
because instead subconsciously you're trading, you're what do you call it? You're opting in for the W prediction rather than just the guaranteed W on where her micro steps are. Like here, she's walking back because she's what? She's what? What is
She
she doing when
wants
she's walking back?
the caster minion
No, no, no. What is she doing when she's walking away from you? Let's see here. Why is she walking away from you?
because she doesn't have Shroud and Q.
Not just that, she's playing against your what? Your
Mm.
Q zoning, right? Your zoning tool.
Uh-huh.
The reason why she actively tried playing into you earlier. Sorry, I like skipped way too ahead. The reason why she drops Shroud and then runs to Q you here. Did I go too far? Watch this. Happens in a second. Oops. Right here. Is because you didn't go for the Q poke. And now she assumes that because these two minions are low, you have to Q it. Remember how we were talking about making choices?
Yes.
There is no choice for her right now because why would she Q the wave right now? They're not low at all.
Oh,
So
yeah, she
she's
only
actively
goes.
forcing
I
you.
see. That does make sense.
And so, yeah. And so what you should do, in my opinion, what you should do is you W these three right now. You guarantee that you still can kill them. And then you just Q her. And you know right now too, if
That
you're
makes so
reading
much
her
more
play,
sense. I didn't even
that the
consider the
only
W.
well, the only play that you have here as a collie, right? And we'll get into it. The more that like you and I work together, the more we'll get into dynamically thinking about these things. But the only play that she has, actually, let's even go simpler. Okay, let's go step 1 and step 2. Let's be in the mindset of a collie for a second. Okay, oops, there we go. So let's assume that these are her two choices. Are we on the same page right now?
Yeah.
Okay. She, on her second choice, she can Q the wave and that's it. Right?
Yeah.
Or her first choice is QU.
Yeah.
QU. Okay. What does she gain from queuing you? Let's see
She
the net positives and negatives. What does she actually gain?
she gains health on me. Like she gets
Right? So
health.
she pokes you. She
Um
pokes slash trades.
I think she wow. I guess that's the thing on the top of my head. And that's good for her
Well, there's
because
another. There is another here. Remember how you actively said, I didn't even consider Wing this? So now she's forcing you into a choice where if you're running away actively from her,
oh,
you lose those minions.
yes. If I want
Now
to
you,
equal the trade, I have to give up the gold of the minions.
yes, exactly. So this chunk of HP that you are losing here is equal to this minion.
Yes.
Unless obviously you W it, but you don't because in a second you're going to Q it. And so let's say you gain 22 gold from this caster. You actively are losing that amount of HP, let's say what, 60 or 80 HP here in trading of 20 gold. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you're going to lose 60 HP and you're going to lose, again, let's just generalize here. You're going to lose 22 gold off of choice 1. Also, there is another positive for her. Like I said, you have to now make a choice. So you lose gold. Lose gold. Okay. Okay, what does she gain from queuing the wave?
I don't feel like she gets much from queuing the wave in
Yeah,
this
nothing, right?
position.
Like there is no play. There's nothing. So actively, if we are in Akali's shoes, what is a more favorable play?
She will always queue me.
Well, she only has one real choice, right?
Yeah.
Like this is her only choice. And so when we are playing,
I think once she's
like
Shroud, she's basically telling me I'm going to queue you because there's nothing really else for her to
yes,
do.
exactly. Now we're thinking dynamically, right? Because she skipped choice 2, she goes to choice 1. Why can she not play for choice 2?
Because the minions aren't low enough.
Exactly, because this is not even a real choice for her. Because let's say, right, let's get in the headspace again of Akali here. Let's say she chooses choice 2. Okay, she queues wave. Okay, let's assume if we're gonna be like really like if we're gonna give her brownie points here, she can maybe shove the wave so that she doesn't eat many queues anymore. Okay, what does she lose for this trade
She's
if
going to
she
lose a
queues and
bunch of her
reveals?
health because I will auto queue
Yes,
her.
exactly. Exactly. She's going to lose HP, but not only that, what are you gaining?
I'm gaining health advantage over her, which is like
Not just that, you're gaining what? Remember your first strike.
first strike.
Yeah, you're gaining
Gold.
gold. Let's say that's like what, 14 gold? Minus 14 gold. She essentially has to trade the amount of, again, let's just generalize it here, but she's trading 1 minion and let's say 60 HP. She's trading 1 minion and 60 HP just to queue the wave. Instead, she can try to like just poke you out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
That does.
And so what you do here to make the best out of this trade, and I know this is happening in split seconds.
Yeah.
So you don't really have a lot of time to react here. This is all like after the fact review. But what you should ideally do here is you W the wave, you gain the 40 gold or 44, and then you queue into her, gain the 16.
Yeah.
So let's assume, right? 44, the 2 minions, plus the 16. That's a 60 gold advantage. Plus the HP advantage that you're gaining on her from poking her. And not only that, what are you gaining from this shove?
I guess it would be a slow push.
You're not slow pushing if you're hard crashing 2 minions. That's not a slow push. What are you actually gaining here? If you're shoving in the wave, what are you gaining?
Minion advantage. I'm gaining.
No. It's something to do with tempo here.
I can
What are you
get
gaining for
a better
tempo-wise?
recall without like
You
losing too much in the next
Yeah,
wave.
you can cheat or recall her technically, but you don't have anything to recall on because you'd only be at like what 250 gold. What are you gaining here? You still have
I
your
could
ward.
get a ward.
Yes, you can just renew your ward. Because remember, we placed this bad boy down at like what, 50 seconds or so?
Yeah.
We can renew the ward. The second that Jarvan walks up actively out here, we can drop a fat ward where my arrow is currently, and then you are safe from this jungle entrance. Or even better yet, now you can play for banana ward here. And then that'll give you the note if Jarvan is entering through this long river and coming all the way around Krugs, because we see him pathing up. If he's going on Raptors, we can assume that he's going on red through Krugs and he's going to path around. Can he gank Ornn here?
No.
Right? So what is his play?
It would have to be mid or recall.
Yeah, exactly. And so now we're covering our bases here on a tempo gain.
That makes
Tempo
sense.
plus vision. Sorry, I'm really shit at writing on the screen, but I hope that, like, does that make sense so far?
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Oh, it does not make any sense, or it makes sense?
Oh,
I
I said yes. Yes, it makes sense.
Oh, okay,
It makes sense.
You had me worried there.
Sorry,
right now, right?
English.
So, no, you're fine. You're fine. So right now, right, you make that choice. Like, even though, best case scenario in this losing side, she didn't even hit you with the Q. She still zones you off with this minion, so you're still losing that gold. And that is exactly the choice that she wanted. But you have like so many little windows of opportunity now to trade back on her. So, like I said, right? She's walking away. She actively has to walk up. We W her for zone control. We get a little bit of gold back off first strike, even if we didn't want to get it earlier. We still had a little opportunity there to W just for that minion. We don't do it, unfortunately. But now, like, look, now we're so scared because of the potential that we know that, like, oh, she is super aggressive here. We now need to, like, respect it.
Uh-huh.
And the second that she sees your Q and your W being expunged, she's like, all right, well, this guy does not really have any threat on me to like zone me out anymore. And what you should be wary of too is that right now in Vietnam and Japan in their solo queues, they are going in for call start on aggressive mid laners to start. So you might have seen it on Azir, LeBlanc has it, Akali's having it, Oriana's having it, because they are actively looking to trade heavy. They are saying, all right, first 100 minions are give me's. I will back on I mean, my first back, and I will get my sort of pseudo spike item or component spike, and then I can now actively trade even heavier because now I have lifesteal, I have push on wave, I have 7 AD plus on hit, and I get extra gold. So you should be really cautious about your trading patterns early. That's why I'm trying to talk to you like right now about punishing, because I see where the meta is going to happen, like go, and I want you to learn how to punish more aggressively and more actively. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah. I think that does.
Because right now you're trying too many things on one turn. You're trying your best to poke her for the Q and get the minions, but you have to make a conscious choice.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
right now your choice is costing you these minions and these waves.
Yeah.
Right now on this fourth minion wave incoming, you at least should be within that ideal 16 to 18 range. And right now you just hit 16 and you've already dropped a couple of minions on this next incoming wave.
Yeah.
Like, this is perfect opportunity now to reset. If Akali has shove, you can instantly back and you would have been able to get some components at least. But right now, like, you're actively shoving it out. Why is shoving this wave out pretty bad for you compared to
Because
just resetting?
she can hold it here.
Yep. And what does that force you to do?
It forces me to, I mean, it's kind of already too late for me to back, in my opinion, in TP
It
without
is. It
it,
is.
it,
The
ba- it
second
basically
that
makes
she
me
leaves.
stay, otherwise I lose.
Yeah, exactly. Right here is when you should have backed and then TP'd in. Okay, why is it really difficult? I love that you're making this bridge yourself. Why is it really difficult for you to stay here when she's contesting this wave and holding it? Why is this really difficult for you?
Because I'm like 40% HP and mana.
Right? Right? She can all in you, but even past then, Jarvan is still off actively and your jungler reset or died.
Yeah.
So like they have numbers advantage on you mid. And
Yes.
so like it's really tough to play here. Okay, second thing here. So we're going first strike and then we end up going tier early. Question for you. If we are going the all-in build early as first strike typically notes, why are we going tier like into this matchup? Are you just looking to spam queue her?
That's a great question, Coach Krim. Uh so I think the debate in my head this game was,
Uh-huh.
okay, it's a melee matchup. I can probably farm some like first strike, and then I didn't really think about the first strike honestly deeper than that, and then I was debating Roa into Archangels just for the survivability, but then I thought, okay, based on our team comp, I don't know if Roa is too passive and I need to do more damage. So then I basically dismissed the Roa and just went straight to Archangels with with the the goal in mind was, well, I'll still have Archangel's shield, which will be good for Akali all inning me.
So I love the process, right? So two things
That was the
come to note.
reasoning. I don't know if it's right,
No, no,
but
no,
yeah.
no, no. I totally understand where you're coming from, and so I want to just offer an alternative here. So into assassins as Veigar, you actually do need to eat the tax and go Roa. You have to. You can definitely go Seraphs. I would actually advise Seraphs here, but in like your first items is you would need to ideally back for a tier and then build quick into your Catalyst of Aeons, which is that item that restores 10% of damage taken as like from the assassin as mana. And so what you do then is that you're in a constant state of refreshing your mana pools, because right now you're still squishy and you're not really getting much value off of rushing either the Seraphs here or just rushing straight mana. What you
Mm-hmm.
need to do is you need to actively be thinking about like the trading still. Assassins typically want to do what to mages?
They want to look for an all in and burst
Well,
you
trade
before.
heavy, right?
Yeah,
They want to actively trade heavy, because what will you do better than the assassin typically?
poke them.
Not even poke. You're going to absolutely have a field day with playing waves. You
Yes.
will have a way better opportunity to shove in waves and to constantly play waves. Like that's just the nature of this matchup of an assassin versus a mage. And like you're a heavy control mage here, so it's even less in your advantage for you to not be playing waves. Your whole champion is just playing waves. It's like Victor. You just get one E upgrade, and that's his identity for the rest of the game. It's just eating waves,
Yeah.
right? So if you're playing waves, and if now you need to be on a tightrope and trying to poke her out half of the time, and this, that, you now need to come to the realization that you unfortunately will be eating many of her Qs, many of her all ins. That is just the reality of this matchup and of your champion's archetype,
Yeah. I feel
right?
like in a solo queue game in this scenario, I would have gone Roa, but I think honestly, I think a part of it is just like inexperience in the
No,
situation.
you're fine. And like I said, man, we are gonna work together. So this is day one. This is like when you hop into the professor's not equating myself to a professor or anything, but this is when you would hop into like a professor's classroom and he's just getting to know you, right? Or that
Yeah.
first day of senior year where you're like, okay, I'm ready for the next step. And this is the next step. I'm here to not make you win D4, but make you ready to win M100 eventually,
Yeah.
right? So that is my main goal. I don't want to see you on the same team next season or next split. I want to see you move on. And so these are steps on how we can make sure that you move on. And already, right? Like we talked about earlier, she wants to go for these heavy trades on you, and that's exactly what she's doing. I think micro wise, you just need to practice a lot more on reading their movements, especially like a somewhat mobile assassin like a Kali. Um, because like a Kali wants to do what do assassins typically want to do in regards to the lane or like the map?
They either want to chunk your HP enough for an all in for a solo kill, or have enough wave control where they're not like dropping too many minions and roam to the sidelines.
Yeah, 100%. She wants to constantly play for roams. They want to play a 2v1. What are they playing 2v1, you think?
Sorry, say it again. What are they? What? 2v1?
What are they playing a 2v1? A two people on their team versus one of ours. Who are they constantly looking to contest?
Jinjiao.
Right, because they have the setup tools. The primary engage tool is Jarvan, whether it's EQ or R. What is Jarvan, unfortunately, in this game? What is he?
He is an engager.
Not only that, but what is like kind of the downside of his kit right now?
The
Remember why we picked Vagar? Why did we pick Vagar? Because they had what?
because they had like low mobility and
Yes, exactly. So what is Xin Zhao?
Jinjiao is follow up damage.
Not really. He's low mobility, right? So like if they can get the pick on a Xin Zhao, does he have a way to get out of Jarvan R?
No,
Right? And so if Akali is in there and he's not able to E to her quick enough, he is gonna die because Akali can just all in him. And she care about his R? No, not really. Does
no.
Jarvan care about his R? No, not really. Who cares about the R in this game? You and Ezreal, right?
Yeah.
Like you guys actively now need to walk into his zone of control versus they don't need to. So they will constantly look for Akali roams. And that's why Akali is very dangerous in this game. It's because if she goes Darkseal early, she will maybe get those Magi spikes way sooner than you'd think. Because again, you're looking to do denial, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can she realistically all in you? Should she realistically all in you, right?
I
Let's say ideal
ideally no.
situation.
In my opinion, if
Right.
I play the matchup correctly, no.
Ideally, no, right? So let's go with that. Ideally, no. So where is she gonna all in then?
Bot lane
Jungler.
or jungler.
Well, she can't really go bot lane. Why can't she go bot lane?
Uh,
Unless there's four manning or something. Why can she not go bot lane? What do they have?
they have a lot of mobility and shields and speed
Yes.
ups.
Will a Kali thrive against low mobility champions?
Yes.
No, she won't. Or sorry, wait, what did I say?
You
Will
said
Akali
low
thrive? Yes, she
mobility.
will. Yeah. Sorry, I'm confusing myself. Yeah, she
Okay.
will because they have no escapes away from her
Yes.
kunai. They
Okay.
can't apply any type of escape from her R2. When she dashes on R2, she has that follow up to run at somebody even with high mobility. She technically could, speaking, do that, but it would require a lot of setup and a lot of burn to make sure that Karma doesn't have E. Because if
Yes.
Karma has shielding, then Akali is just screwed. But that's exactly what she wants to do. She wants to play for these realms. That's why she's like buggering off constantly. But if you're shoving the waves actively, like not holding as you are, but shoving it, what does that make her do? She has to now run back to lanes, right? To
Yes.
answer that wave. Right now, you're just bouncing wave, and she can just play like, all right, I'm here, I'm there, and
Is
I'm
it
coming
not
back, and I'm not
dangerous
losing
for me
much.
to shove the wave now that she has 6 though?
If you have vision and you can play your E and constantly are poking at her at an optimal time and punishing her, then there should be no real threat of her killing you. The threat should lie on you killing her.
Okay.
Right now, you're giving her the opportunity, so to speak, of her being able to kill you. But if you're leading in with confidence and you're making sure that, like, obviously, you're shoving in at correct times and whatnot,
Yeah.
you're fine. She can all in you, sure, but at the same time, if she is poked out far enough and you're doing it efficiently, you should be the one threatening her with an R to the face.
Yes. That makes sense.
Like right here, we're wasting too much mana trying to control her rather than just cue her for the zoning.
Uh-huh.
And look, like I said, she wants to play the Xin Zhao, so she's constantly looking with the Jarvan in tandem. But you don't have that potential right now early. Why do you not have the same potential to roam as she does?
Because I have less mobility than her.
Not just that, you're playing for Spike.
I'm
Remember how
also
we
I
identified
need Q
for those
stacks.
spikes? Yeah, that is exactly your spike. We identified early in the draft that this is the pick that we have for spike. Our spike is Q stacks. Our spike is this. Our spike is that. This is a great realm from you. I think if we were to get the kill, it's way more efficient. So that might be a communication thing. But that was your timer there to roam. This is a pretty decent TP. We back, and now we are building into Ludens by the looks of it. So not too entirely bad, but Ludens again doesn't get too much value if we're not
I think it's
trading heavy.
Archangels.
Oh, we're actually rushing Seraphs first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Seraphs first is kind of wonky. Only because, right? Like if you're doing Seraphs first, you now let me actually take it a step back. How does Seraphs give us the most value? When do we get the most value off of Seraphs?
When we proc the shield.
Well, when it's fully maxed,
Yeah.
right? Like not just the tier, but like the actual Seraphs embrace goes to the Archangels, or sorry, when the Archangels goes into the Seraphs. That
Uh-huh.
is the point in the game where we get the most value off of this item. We're not going to get as much value as you'd think early on because it scales off of mana. What mana do we have other than just that normal Seraphs? We don't. That's why it's more optimal to go some type of mana item first, especially if you are running this build and don't need to like go Landry's to slow kill tanks or
Okay.
something.
Is that why some people do like Ludens into Archangels?
Exactly, because you have Lost Chapter and your Luden's Echo is giving you how much mana? Do you know off the top of your head?
Sorry, Ludens?
Yes. How much mana
Well,
does
actually,
that
aren't they
give you?
all 600?
Yeah, exactly. It was just a trick question. It's 600 mana for that, plus your Archangel slash Seraphs would be giving you that like 600.
Okay.
That's why you can get away
I
too
think
with
in
doing
my
the
head, I
rollout.
was maybe thinking about them as one or the other. Like you only get malignants, you only get
No,
archangels.
no, no. No, my friend, that's why we got to think about it because the fully stacked, Archangels is going to give you 1k, but at the same time, you can do that 1k plus 600. That's 1600 additional sorry, that's
Yeah.
1600 mana for your champion to scale off
Quick
of.
question: Can you replay how I died here?
Sure. Sorry, I know we're talking about like actual theory right now, and I'm not really talking too much about
No,
like what's
you're
happening
good.
on the screen. So sorry.
I
Yeah. So this is like you can't do this because you're overplaying your turn. So
yeah.
the only turn that you had was to shove this wave and
Yes,
punish her on the
I
back, and
agree.
now you back. Anytime you have over 1200 to 1300 gold, it should be considered a yellow zone. After 1400 should be considered red unless you are absolutely close to hitting some type of like I have IE now, right? Like this
Yeah.
is just greed. This is
Yeah.
biblical levels of greed because you have 1750 gold. When do we consider gold an advantage?
When it spends.
Exactly. It isn't an advantage in our pocket right now. No, because right now we're just accumulating this for no apparent reason. You have beautiful wave control. You have so much shove off of Akali trying to do these forced extra timing on roams and whatnot. Right? Jarvan is bot side, so she's gonna play towards bot. That should be another sell on how she's playing and moving her body. But here what you should have done is as you're shoving this, and if you really wanted to get one extra Q, you pop the E insta. Don't give her any potential to get close to you. You pop
Yeah.
E. Your biggest thing right now is that you're greeting and you're trying your best to go for Q before E. You can't. You need to do E and then Q. So you Q and then you drop E now the second that the damage threat is here. Flashing at this point is a waste unless she's already flashed bot because she has R2 to follow up and then she also has a Q flash to catch you.
Yeah. I thought the E would stun her R. So I think that's why I was
No,
saving the E for later. But
no.
I think
So
it makes
you're
sense to just like
yeah.
drop the cage on her so that if she really wants to and she's gonna have to flash, and at that point then I should be okay to just match the flash and get out.
Yeah, and I think too, like the way that you're looking at your shop and thinking about lucidity here is, well, actually, lucidity might have been better for you, but the way that you're looking at your boots here was kind of wonky too, because I think you're in the headspace of I need to go for my quest item as soon as possible so I get tier 3 boots versus how can I still play to the benefit of my lane. I think that you just get normal boots here and then opt in for the lost chapter on Ludens
Okay.
because then you have more damage, you have more of a mana reserve, and now it's actually going to synergize with your archangels faster.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay.
All right, so let's see what happens here. So yeah, so you go for the WQ. At this point, all you can do is just shove. Like I said earlier, your whole champion's dynamic is shove, but still you're giving that space, and you should be hitting, your tab to see what exactly she has. You need to lead in with E rather than following it up.
Yes. I think this is
So
one
fine.
thing I was really struggling with. It was I think I was reacting with the E too much
Right.
and it just was not working.
Well,
So
just off of your
maybe
lane
I should have
macro.
tried to just like even if I don't hit it, I'm at least pressuring
Right.
rather
Well,
than
that's exactly what you now need to do, Liz. You're not only pressuring beautiful W there, or sorry, E. Your whole game plan here should not be just to pressure the Akali. It should be looking to zone her out because again, it's the Q zoning control. You
yeah.
give that up essentially when you're not using your abilities or when you're holding it for a better circumstance. What you're doing, unfortunately, is the case of a lot of mid laners sometimes is where they play not to lose lane rather than not rather than
Like to
playing to
win.
win lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you're looking to go even rather than playing like into an actual win state. You're like, okay, guys, don't look at mid as you're an option at all. Why is that wrong in this game specifically? Why would that be wrong for you to like be like, okay, guys, just chill, let me scale, and then like I'll come online later.
Because I think that's giving Akali space and time to snowball the game and accelerate it.
100%, but
Pa-
it's also think about synergy, right? Think about what you bring on the table for Xin Zhao. you're a free like EQ tool for him essentially, because you can just cage somebody and he doesn't even need to now worry about tagging them with W or not. They're essentially within his melee range. Now, if she drops Shroud, that's something else. But he can obviously still play into that. Here, this realm is fickle because you already saw Xin Zhao go to cover. What you should be doing is always answer your wave first before you look for roams. There's
Okay.
no point in trying to convert your lead or tempo if you don't even have a lead or tempo to like convert, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't have pressure to convert, so like why make this play?
Yeah.
This is fine. Now you just need to run out. Nice. Reconnecting with the Ornn here. I like it. You should be backed here and then look bot. I think right now what you're looking to do is probably some type of okay, this is wrong. I think right now you're looking for a very large rod. Okay, the pick here, right, is the pinch. Why are we going down?
Yeah. I knew it. As soon as I saw the flash, I was like, yeah, it was such a mistake to pad down here. I don't know why I did
What you
that.
should be doing is you should stay on this wave.
Because that's the
and
only
then
way he
you should
leaves. It's the
play-
only way he gets out.
Sorry?
It's the only way he gets out. I was so mad when I
Exactly.
saw this. I was like,
It's
no,
his
I
only
knew
way to
better.
get out, but
Like he's not
remember
gonna
to look
flash
at the map.
towards bot side.
Well, these three guys are pushing the tower and nobody's answering tower. So this one Jarvan is still negatively impacting your team's macro, because now the enemy team, their bot lane is pressuring waves and now able to shove in for free. And there's a huge amount of hex runes or whatever the hell it's called here. The hex crystal, I believe it's called.
I forget what it's called either.
But like these crystals are going to do enhanced structural damage. But now you are just like we're kind of benign to this, right? Like the wave doesn't matter here. And remember what I said, when we're moving with the intent. Can we move if we don't even have anything to intentionally play for?
No.
Right. So like there is no play here then. Cuz like your E works still over this wall if you wanted to play that cross.
Yeah.
Now,
No, I
you could
agree.
say Coach Crimson. You could say Coach Crimson, but there's the threat now of Nautilus, of all these
No,
people
I
all
did.
letting me
I
here.
completely
Why can
agree
they
with
not do
you.
that? I know, but I'm just explaining the alternative. Why can they not play this?
Well, I mean, there's a minion wave that.
Exactly. Like the wave's there. Plus, what is your whole job? Your whole job is to destroy the wave, so it's constantly going to have to be pushed.
Yeah.
And you could even threat and pressure these champions here, because if they want to do this weird cross and flash over the wall and save their homeboy or whatever, you actively are able to poke them as they're walking up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay,
No,
let's go
I
back to next.
100% agree. I was actually quite mad at myself when I saw the J4 flash because I knew that should have been a kill if I just walked up and set it down.
Yeah. We see a Kali there top, right? We're going to go to bot side. This is still fine. Yeah, just answer waves. These waves should not be touching your tower at all. I get it that it's a way easier time for you to farm, but at the same time, now why is it not fine here?
Because now it's shoving back to them.
It's shoving back to them, right? But it's gonna automatically do that since you're Veigar stacking champion. It's not like you're gonna hold your Q not to go.
Well,
through mage or whatever.
I'm also like in more threat because
What
like
are we trading?
so,
You're right. You are in more threat of Jarvan, but what are we trading here when you walk up and touch this wave and then later on allow it to bounce back into tower? What are you trading?
I'm
Look at the minimap.
well, everyone is top side and my safety?
No, you see Gwen. Okay. Correct. You see Gwen?
I'm trading the gold that I'm denying her because
No,
I can
you're
hold it
trading.
here.
No, you're trading vision. Why? No, you don't need to hold it here. You should just be shoving, because you're trading vision control off Gwen here, and now you're actively telling Gwen it's all right. Like whatever you do, I'm just gonna answer this wave in the safety of my tower rather than apply a little bit of pressure here. Even if you don't have flash, she's not gonna all in you here. She would now need to be like 2 screens away, and her needlework will not reach this far. She's backing. Let's say she is backing right here.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not asking you to run all the way up
Yes.
there. I'm asking you not to bring the wave over here, because now this is a free back for her over here.
Yeah.
There's no threat.
Her goal is accomplished if I let the wave crash.
Exactly. I'm not asking you to be a hero and like sacrifice your life to stop this Gwen back. No, that is stupid. Do not die for the Gwen. But instead is like you just gave her the free tool to back. There was no threat at all.
Yeah.
And so like here, right? So it's pretty awkward because now what you do is you do the counterpoint of, all right, Coach Crimson, what happens then if Gwen is still here, right? What you did was you allowed the wave. This, okay? You allowed the wave to basically reset on you for no reason.
Yeah.
Here, catch the wave, hold it until your minions come, and then you can look to shove. Then the next incoming wave will be a lot safer for you to catch rather than like your wave was neutral as hell. And like now it's neutral. Now we reset because now you have your 1250 for very large rod. You don't need to keep pushing, especially with no vision.
Yeah.
This is still fine. Okay. This is a really weird build that you're going, by the way. It's because you're going Seraphs into your Rabs immediate. And so you're not getting any base value off of your mana reserve for the shield itself.
Yes. There's no synergy, right? Between the
Right.
items.
Your items are not synergizing. Rabs here would be a great third option, not necessarily second, because you're not needing to one-shot them. Right now, you're needing to sustain and stay alive for a long fight.
Makes sense.
And here too, why are we leading in? Like, okay, so you are moving without purpose. What is the purpose here of moving if you cannot connect with your mid lane or anything like that for vision control? What are we moving for? There's no threat. There's no objectives up.
Yeah.
So are you looking to play for Herald? You should not be answering bot wave if Gwen has already like. If Gwen and Akali have not shown either, you now need to consciously wait to see which chooses which lane. You can't be the one to choose the lane. They will send Gwen for you. And now you're dead, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just dead. Yeah. He needs to answer the Gwen. He is building essentially against the Gwen. He can build against the Akali for sure, but like the success of Ornn here is just versus the Gwen. Akali will free farm. You can deny, you can poke again because of why. What reason do you have that you can just poke her out? Your range.
Yeah.
Our lane assignments are very wonky. You can't contest mid. You can't go top. You now need to awkwardly go bot. Yeah, that's fine. You can take that wave and then go. Yep. Okay, is your team playing for Dragon?
I mean, based off of this map state, no. Like we
Right,
don't have
because
vision.
we're not walking actively earlier. Right, it's like very awkward. Are we communicating that our primary engage tool is Veigar E here? Is that what we're playing for?
I think we are playing for Ornn ult is what we're
Okay.
communicating
But
here.
you can't be leading the charge with your squishy build. You just can't realistically.
Yeah.
If you're going Roa, even then you now need to just chill. And what you should do here is you should have dropped your E way later because your E expires so soon. So like when I TP's in, like Gwen wasn't even like she got stunned, but your team was like half and half. So like let's go back on the call here. Let's listen in. So we have way more.
Oh, I forgot we have audio. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Hold on. So let's go to proper speed. I hear can we Ornn R? Yes, 100%. It needs to be shoved.
I have blue ward.
Yep, we should walk in. This is good. Orange should not be backing. He should be playing in. What you guys now need to do is just send it with the Ornn R and contest like up in that corridor.
I can put the cage down. Wait. Can we look the Gwen?
Nope. So Kitty is saying burn, and now you're actively changing the call to can we look instead. If your jungler is committing to burn, which is the correct call here, you need to burn.
Yeah.
You are not the primary engage. You already had noted that it is under the burden of Ornn to be primary engage. Because like now look, now the whole play is weird because now everybody's on a different priority.
Yeah.
Look at this, okay? We have 5 champions that want to do 5 different things in this one fight.
Yeah.
And this is another lesson in of itself that we'll get to eventually, but okay. All right. What does Karma want to do here? In this fight, ideally, what does she want to do?
She probably wants to just mantra E everyone and get out after we get the Drake.
Like shielding, right? She wants to shield. Okay, what is Orn trying to do? He wants to engage. Or that's at least what he's going to do in a second. Actually, let's see. Yeah, okay, he engages. She's trying to shield. This guy's getting advanced on, so he's trying to kite. The call verbally and Xin Zhao's actions are saying burn. Your calls and actions are actively saying turn.
Yes.
How do we work as a team if we have 5 different ideas on how we're actually going to execute one fight? This is one fight, right? One multiple options here, but the entire team is split. How can a car work if all the wheels are going in different directions?
It cannot. It will blow up, probably.
It will blow up, and this fight results in a blowout fight because actively you have 5 different champions that want to do different things that are all doing different things based on their actions and based on the active communication. The active call here and the team call should be we are burning, as noted from your jungler. This is a really bad walk-in. If you do not have vision control at 110 right now with walking with Karma, so like Xin Zhao walks with Karma here, bot side into Veigar potentially threatening with TP, there is no play. We can't just actively walk in blind. Why can we not actively walk in blind against their comp?
It's because their comp will basically beat us if we start the fight like 100.
How?
How? Well, because they have Nautilus engaged, they have Jarvan engaged.
Yes, they have
Akali will
what? They
jump
have
on
what
us.
against us?
Sorry, what was the
They have
question?
more. What do they have against us?
They
We get
have like
this
hard
text off.
engage.
They have more engage tools, correct?
Yeah, and we don't really have great peel. Like it's Veigar
Oh,
cage.
we don't.
It's like
We
Karma
don't. We don't
running.
have.
Yeah,
Remember, we'll get through it right now. I'll do a mini,
but
I
like
guess,
I think
class
ideally
here.
Ezreal needs to poke before the fight starts and like hold. We need to hold the zone instead of like walking into the zone that we want to be at.
Okay, I'll just quickly go over a little bit of a. Oops, that should not say poke. A little bit of a class here. So I go further in depth for like certain things sometimes in drafts, but I'll just keep it like very, very bare bones for now. This is my denotion of drafting, and this is kind of like my mental thought process when I'm drafting for CLOL for university. So this would be, and I'm sorry I chose such a shit color and still frame, but I'll still get the point across. Um, this is how mentally we prep uh for drafts. So we actually break down the champions further into what they want to do in comparison to each other. So remember how when we were talking about this, we were talking about like synergizing mid laners and connecting slash bridging with each
Yeah.
other. Like this is the thought process behind why we actually have synergy and what each champion does. All right. So in bare bones, this is there we go. In bare bones, this is essentially what each champion wants to do. Right? Like this is the character archetype. I'm sorry, I should have just froze it. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. This is essentially what each champion wants to do in this circumstance in the game. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have Ornn engage. We have Veigar playing as 2 engage tools. We have Xin Zhao as a follow-up tool. So depending on who we actually have the catch on, that's Xin Zhao's only priority is making sure that they stay up in the air as long as possible and making sure that they're just constantly getting fed damage into. We have Ezreal as just a primary damage source. So ideally backline. And then we have Karma, as you correctly noted as well, just peeling us. So giving us Mantra E, giving us E, maybe even throwing a W or two at the Akali or Jarvan as they're running in. Then we have on the opposite side, we have a Gwen who's looking to dive, meaning she's running past our resources and looking just to kill us or actively playing into us with some type of denial tool. So in this case, her W. We have Jarvan playing engage. We have Akali again playing dive potential, so diving heavy on our backline, slash still playing somewhat of that denial tool with her W, but not really. Then we have the Varus who can do 2 styles here. he can either lead in with his R as our pseudo engage, and then he swaps to poke, or he just plays the poke. And then Nautilus is just engage. Now, they have all these tools, right? Who thrives on no vision? Which side thrives on lack of vision
It's
control?
a red side.
Right, why?
Because a lot of their champs want to, I guess, look for flanks, look for dive, look for like
I have a
basically like
question.
all ends.
I have a question. What is more scary, right? The soldier holding the gun that you can see, or the sniper that you have no idea where he's at?
The sniper.
Obviously, right? Because you don't exactly know where they're going to approach from. You have no idea what they could do. So, in that same breath, with the dive tools, their entire premise is diving on your back line, making sure that they burn your resources so that they can just run through your team. And so, if you don't have any vision on a Nocturne, for instance, any pops are, how will you exactly know where he's going to approach and who he's going to approach first? It's the same thought process with dive. That is the same exact kind of logic that we need to apply here, where Gwen can just run through us with W. We don't really have anything to deny her from doing so other than your E, which even then, again, if we don't know exactly where she's coming, can you anticipate dropping E for her?
No.
Exactly. So it's really tough to walk in on this red side comp. And that's essentially what we're opting in, by the way, to do. Like this 3 minute spiel about like archetypes and stuff, this entire bot side right now is blind as heck, and we have no way of knowing where they're going to approach. If we want to approach, we have to do it from the exact same angle. This is dangerous as hell for you to approach because you have no vision of this banana brush right
Yeah.
here, like the one that you're walking actively into. So Jarvan they can turn on you, but like they're just not going to do it, which is fine. You burn your primary engage. Oh, sorry, I also forgot to mention. So within engage, there's primary
Yes, and secondary.
and secondary. So like primary and secondary, for anybody in here who doesn't know, would be like primary you're just leading in with, secondary you're leading afterwards. Now you can change these up; they're intertwinable. So for instance, Varus here can be primary or he can be secondary. It just depends on where enemies are, circumstantial to where he is or his ability. Right after Ornn does his engage, is he still considered an engage tool? No, then he would swap up to just be like a frontline tank, or in this case, I guess hypothetically speaking, a PL champion, somebody who's actively creating space for the team. It's the same reason why Malphite, after his initial engage with his R, is no longer in a primary engage. He would swap to a PL champion, if that makes sense. Champion like Nautilus switches from engage to peel based on what he has available. In the same breath that we're talking about, Ornn R, Malphite R, Nautilus off of Q, swaps to peel, then he goes back to primary after he gets his Q back up. And it's just intertwinable compared to whether or not J4 has EQ or whatever. I go really into depth with all of these classifications on identifying dive comps, pick comps, even trying to play against those types of comps and giving you proper counters. I have a full crash course on that through a VODed series. So if you're interested in that, anybody, it's just on my Coach Crimson YouTube channel. But yeah, so that random promo aside, right now you just used one of your engage tools. So now the burden of engage lies on who?
Ornn.
Right? Is it realistically Ornn all the way out here?
No.
So who is it on right now?
It's on me. And I just
No, it's
burned
on Xin Xiao,
the.
because now you don't have the resource. He is not connected into the
Oh,
fight.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Xin here is right next to somebody. What is Xin engage tool? Why did I say that he's follow up?
Because his engage kind of revolves around whether he hits W or not, and it's hard to hit
No,
W with
has nothing to do with W. What is his engage actually on? What piece in his kit is a knockup?
Kiss Q.
Right. Technically speaking, his knockup is also on his R, but his Q is exactly what's building space and doing this follow up for us. And so right now, it relies heavily on Xinjiao to actually be able to make this play and create this space. It's just really, really, really awkward otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you are recording, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, oh my God, if I had to explain this again. It might be chopped.
Yeah,
It's
no,
okay.
I'm recording.
So right here, now is Orn our primary or secondary engage?
I think now he's in range for Ornal if he
Yeah,
wants
now
to look
he's
for it.
primary because now he's connected with the team. This is a great macro call. We always need to build pressure in order to convert pressure into other pressure or walk into zones. Right? So we're actively talking. Kitty's saying we have to fight with Orn. That's why Tranquility here stops back. We need to rip the R. He's noting that if we are going to turn, we need to go on the basis now of Orn R. The play, though, is dead. We're listening to calls as they're evolving.
I can put the cage down.
If they come, we have to fight.
Wait.
They have not came yet. Now we swap the call to, okay, burn.
Can we look the Gwen? Can we look the
You're now changing it to can we look? So two coinciding calls. Okay, I didn't even hear that before, but now Kitty's saying yeah, but he's still burning. Okay, we get dragged because he was looking to burn. Remember, we have one guy who's peeling, one guy who's burning, one guy who's engaging, one guy who's turning, and one guy who's kiting. How the hell do we win this coordinated fight?
Yeah, impossible.
We can, but these are things that we actively need to talk about before rather than at the time of. I loved how Kitty dynamically was talking about this is what we should do, but we're not actively talking about, this is what we have to do right now. We had time to create all these opportunities and create plays, but we just talk about these things dynamically way too late. And now we get ace because we are split. Are they split?
No, they just wanted to fight
Because
us.
remember what we just talked about?
Yes.
Remember what we just talked about, these tools? Did they just do these tools?
Yeah.
Did they play to this style? Let's keep this on the screen and let's watch this whole thing play out. Let's ask ourselves, are we playing towards our archetypes for synergy? Watch ours, watch theirs. Who's actually going to, like, by the way, this is exactly the concept of when your guys' coaches are saying we didn't play the comp right. I don't know if anybody here has ever heard that term. It's a very
Yeah.
common phrase that people will say. You guys didn't play the comp right. We didn't play the comp right. This is what people mean. I don't know if that's exactly verbatim, this is the thought process, but this is the basis off of what coaches mean or players mean when they're saying we did not play the comp right. This is your character types for synergy. This is how you should be playing it when we identify it, at least. Damage, peel, follow up, engage, engage. They want dive, dive, engage, engage / poke, engage. Let's see who plays it better.
I can put the cage down. Wait. Can we look the Gwen? Can we look the Gwen?
I'll let Orn die and then we can revisit this, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So who actually executed their draft better here in this circumstance?
Definitely the red side because like Jarvan's able to engage on the Ezreal. I mean Gwen didn't even have to really dive very far, but yeah, she just wants to get in, and it was very easy for her to get in this fight.
But it's an easier to execute comp, right? Like
yes.
their comp is easier to execute than ours because ours is what?
Ours is more, I guess, like pick. Like we want to.
No, remember what we talked about from the early draft when we were looking at early draft.
We want to scale. We want to.
Yes, we have 3 scaling champs, right? We have Ezreal, Vhagar, and Ornn. 3 different champions with 3 different spikes. Remember, just to reiterate, 2 item stacks, Ornn items. Ornn items are level 13 onwards. But these are our 3 notions here. Do they have scaling?
Not
are the
really
champions
besides
primarily
Gwen.
scaling? They definitely do scale very nicely, Varus and Gwen and stuff, but do they want to play for scaling here?
No.
Right? So they don't have these stipulations on them as much as we do. But we're actively now playing as if we don't actually have the stipulations. We're actively playing as if we are strong as they are.
Yes. And this isn't
And we're
even so,
walking
I
in
don't
blind.
think.
Well, this is like this is a sunken cost fallacy where for some reason we are scared to play the game so slow and we have to go 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 go. We've spent 22 minutes in this game right now. I need to win this now.
Yeah, makes
See?
sense.
And then Kitty says, I figured the fight was gonna go bad, and so I took Drake instead. That is a communicational flaw here because we now need to actively talk to each other and say, this is what we need to do. When you lead with intent, and again, sorry to self promo here, but I have a huge doc that I wrote from my time in NACL, OQs, CLOL, even amateur at high level. But this is the basis of my communication guide, which is a 32-page doc on how to communicate for every single role, any circumstance ever. But when you lead with intent, it bridges the gap for a huge questionability on what next. I'm sure you've heard that many times. Well, okay, guys, what do we do next? What do we want to do? If you're leading with intent, the entire team knows that we can formulate under one plan. Right now, your plan was split into 5 different ways. And we just saw that based on how we
Yeah, I
execute the
think
draft and
no
our
one
gameplay.
knew what their role was in the fight.
Exactly. That's why we define it though with the intent. We are guys, we are playing for just zoning them out and then we can go for drag after we kill two. Guys, I have my Ornar right now. I can lead in for fight. Just watch me on my Ornar get off drag and then we play. Guys, I have Vagar Cage. If they TP in, whoever TPs in is dead. Let's play for around Ezreal, guys. Let's play around Cage. Can we control the choke here? Can we walk up for vision? Can we fish here? If they're answering mid wave that we just shoved, can we actually just go walk at them with Ornar, guys? Can we focus on Varus? Varus is super fed. Is there a world where we just run at Varus here? Right? Just talk, communication. And it's very easier said than done, obviously,
Oh,
especially in a newer
extremely.
environment like a tryout scenario. But at the same time, that intention, that voice, that leadership comes from confidence. And that's not something that you just suddenly get. That's something that you need to constantly develop, whether it's on a team, whether it's in solo queue. If you think you are the best player, and if you truly convert that thinking into knowing that you are the best player in your role, in your lobby, in your lane, whatever it may be, you will play like it. The second you play not to lose lane is when you've already lost because you've lost the mental battle rather than thinking about actively how we can, you know, I'm so good at the game. Well, I'm so good at the game. How do I convert this into winning the rest of the map? Mid lane is like such a pivotal role too because like you are the second jungler. The same way that like maybe we want to laugh and say like, oh my god, support is so broken and whatever. You are the second jungler. You have as much control over damage as the jungler does early, at least somewhat neutrally, right? There's some champions that spike way harder than others, but generally speaking, that's exactly why Akali early was roaming with the Jarvan, if that makes sense, because she's actively acting as second jungler. That's why Talon, whenever Talon's super buffed and super powerful, Nefiri, those two champions run the map because they can afford to. They can run with their jungler. If you don't think that you are the best, you're going to constantly concede tempo, you're going to concede pressure, and you're not second jungler. You're more like second support this game. Do we need 2 supports?
No.
Right? Why do we not need 2 supports?
Uh, because we don't have a lot of damage in this team comp as is.
Yeah, you're a triple scaling comp and your sole AP. Orn does heavy amounts of AP. Karma does heavy amounts, but are they going to be the go-to? Are they going to be the consistent amounts of AP?
No.
No, right? So like right now, Xin Zhao and Ezreal can free hit. Well, not really Xin Zhao, but Ezreal and Xin Zhao are going to have a really nice go at hitting Nautilus. Will Nautilus consistently build armor or will he build MR?
Uh, Probably
What does he get more
armor.
value off of this game?
Armor?
Right?
Oh,
Plated or what do you call it? Mercs.
mm, probably plated
Why would it be plated over Mercs?
because Jinzhao and Ezreal do more AD damage, and there's 2 AD versus like the solo Veigar AP if we're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
counting the
you're a
karma
combo
horn.
mage. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a caster mage, right? Like you deal damage between your CDs versus they are consistently spitting out damage, and so they are blocking. And maybe I'm talking out of my ass here, so I'm actually forgetting the plated numbers. I think it's like 15 or 25%, right? Damage reduction on autos, but they are weaving in autos, so you are going to be the one to deal the AP. And the biggest issue for you this game is that, like, if you guys don't have the space, if you can't play the way that your character needs to play within the draft, you're just basically like going that low confidence. And also, whenever we move, remember how we talked about intent for team fight? When we're moving, when we're doing anything in the game, we need intent. What is the intent here to roam up? What are you actively trying to do? Is this just an auto thing? Are you actively doing something?
I think I was saying that it's impossible for me to side lane versus Gwen and Akali at this point. Like I'll just kind of
Why is it
die.
impossible for you to silent versus Akali?
I I thought she could just kind of all in me with like flash and her ult.
Rem- Remember what we talked about early.
Oh,
If
because I
she
don't have
all
Roa.
ins you, no. Fuck the Roa.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
let's pretend that we're going the items that we have from this game state. Let's not talk about a hypothetical itemization. Let's talk about your current itemization.
Uh-huh.
Why can she not all in you? Remember what we were talking about in mid lane.
Oh, if I lead with E.
Yes, but you're doing it so late. You lead with Q and then you E. And so now we're in a weird circumstance where, like, we're actively going up to her and giving her a nice juicy kiss. And then, like, by the time you do that, like, she just fully commits on you, Hexblade or Hexbolt or whatever the active is called. And then she can just Q E R1 R2 follow up on your flash and you're dead. An assassin wants to do what? Besides all inning you, they want to do what? They want to
Uh,
X the gap.
they want to
What
close
is
the
the
gap.
X? Yes, they want to close the gap, and she's actively closing the gap on you. And look at this. You're like auto pathing rather than like warding out on that brush. You can assume that they're on Baron, sure, but you also should leave it in with a certainty that they're all there. This is fine split push. This is really nice. This is your only opportunity to do so. Gwen is showing top. Kali's on mid brush, or sorry, mid wave. This is perfect. You can probably play this unless Akali has TP, then you just need to be weary. This is fine too. Kitty's walking down actively. You should have this. To be honest with you, that ward doesn't really mean much. I would have just done it in the pixel. If you do it on the Spire's Bloom, like that area, it'll actually reveal on map that somebody now has vision of this specific zone. So you're actively telling somebody, hey, like, here's 15 free gold, and that's exactly why they just deleted it. See, you hezi, you eed right on top of yourself rather than eing away. Yet all this time in the world, you are playing way too reactive rather than playing active. And
Uh-huh.
that's the basic, like, weary of, like, control mages, is when you lose your oomph, they just capitalize. You see a Kali, you need to lead in with E. You were
Okay.
dead either way here, realistically, but like this is a choice that you have to play in.
So I should have E'd. Wait, where should I have E'd?
Here, E, drop the fucking E on her.
Okay.
Drop it right now. You're waiting. You're like, maybe, and then she flushes, and then you're like, oh shit.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and second thing too, and maybe this is a little controversial here, but if you're guaranteed dead, right? Have you ever played top lane?
Um, for fun. Uh,
Okay, so
not
what
super
is your
seriously.
most competitive lane? Like mid, right? It's your on roll.
Yeah.
Have you played AD
Uh, I
competitively?
guess when you say have I played 80, like to what capacity?
All right, Tech. What is your main role?
I'm mid laner,
Okay, you guys are both bad examples of this. Gunnar,
but
are
I'm
you
also
there?
like
I mean I've
I've
played a
also
lot
played
of
a ton of
80,
top.
just like
You have played top Tech
Yeah, and AD
competitively.
carry. I mean, yeah.
Okay, when you're guaranteed dead, what is the best thing that a top laner can do? You have jungle ganking your ass. The top laner is also about to kill you. What is the
I'll just
best
get
thing
the
that you
wave.
can do? Exactly. So you can convert your death into a swing of gold, right? So is there a wave currently right now, Chen?
no,
All right. What is the next best thing that you can do to convert your gold?
just chunk them out.
Why would you chunk them out? What is the benefit of chunking them out here? You are right, but what is the benefit of chunking them out? What are you
Because
gaining?
it forces them to recall.
No. There is no force recall.
Oh,
There's
first
nothing
strike,
to
I
play
guess.
for on the map. Yes, you have first strike. You can convert your death into your first strike proc. Why would it be fine for you to use R here and just blow your first strike?
Well, because my R is gonna be back up by the time the objective, like the next objective is
Yes, the
strike.
objective, yeah, 100%. Your neutral objective now is 2 minutes out. This is the best case circumstance for your losing position. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
This is the best case scenario. Now, earlier there were circumstances that you could have done this to, right? But at the same time, like the situation wasn't as dire, and your conversion of your R for like the minuscule gold that you'll get wasn't really that worth. Like you have more pressure using your R for like a roam or something than you would here. But because we're in a dire situation and because there is no other play for us at this given moment besides just answering waves, and you're guaranteed dead anyways, the second you see flag, you're like, no offense, man, you're just dead.
Yeah, no,
There's
I
no
think
way
I
you're
was
gonna
already
finish.
telling Kitty here, like, oh, just leave me. Like, I'm 100% dead here.
But do you see kind of what I'm getting at here?
Yes.
You convert your death into the first strike, because look, your first strike is still going off, and you don't need to go on the guesses of whether or not you're gonna hit a W. You can get 2 Qs and your R, and then you can convert that into full gold.
That makes sense. I think
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot about how to use first strike properly.
Well, hopefully you're getting a lot of info from this session.
Yes,
I mean,
yes, yes.
it's an impromptu session, and I'm sorry, it's not like a formal thing with. I would usually have a PowerPoint for you with like specific examples on what I'm describing.
No, I
But,
think a lot of what you're saying I understand.
I low-key like thinking of first strike as TF passive. Just like
yeah,
just you generate a gold lead for basically doing nothing. But
Yeah.
exactly.
like,
And
TF,
I don't know
get
if
it
you
for CSing. First strike, you get it for just hitting enemies.
right, and I don't know if you were here earlier at what point you joined, but we were talking about actively how now mid meta is sort of moving towards call start on Azir, on Akali, on LeBlanc,
Don't get me started on this. I have
on Ori.
terrible.
So
Oh my
well, whether or not you have certain opinions aside, that is somewhat of a start that we are kind of seeing, right? Whether it's right
yeah.
or wrong, and so that is the basic metric of it. If you're in a losing matchup early, you can still get a little bit of gold and trade even based on the amount of CS that you're gonna get. You'll have a little life steal to trade heavy. You might be a demon on CSing now on a champion that otherwise sucks ass CSing. But that's
100%,
essentially
yeah.
the same mentality, and I love that TF comparison. It's just unfortunately, we're not. Like I said, I think you're like thinking of Vagar here too cookie cutter. You're
Mhm.
thinking of I need to get my stacks rather than actively thinking about like, all right, my stacks are the end goal. How do I actually approach that goal?
Uh-huh.
You have 5 players in your game right now who are actively trying to win the game, but winning the game means something different for every single one of you.
Yeah.
How do we bridge that connection? How do we communicate that to each other? How do we talk about our spikes to each other? Rather than just saying, I need X item on this timer, how do we actually play our champions to get to that timer? How do we create that timer for ourselves? If it's not naturally showing, how do we create these opportunities?
So would you say me sitting here is bad? Like I should have
No. You'll die if you don't have vision control. They'll just run bot and answer you.
Right.
What you should do is you should connect right now with your mid laner rather than walking in this awkward piece of brush and jungle here and risking walking into certain death here where you have no vision, or here, right? This entire area here, there's no vision. So this is a really weird play for you to do. You should go around the tier 2 area, connect through mid lane, and walk through mid with your team.
Yes, I agree.
But this is a really bad timer. Like I said, ideal scenario is 110 or even prior that you're setting up basic
Yeah.
residual wards. This is a really wonky timer.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Also, hello, Shady. Or Shady. I'm sorry if I said that wrong.
Makes
hello.
sense.
All right. So our call here is burn. They're all showing. Might look for steal. Oh, he actually did steal. Okay, now we kill him. Okay, why are you not ulting? Why are you not ulting the easy target to kill?
I think in my head he was a guaranteed kill, so I thought saving it for later
If you kill
made
him,
sense.
well, listen. If you kill him faster, what does that mean for the rest of your team?
They
What do they
can
do faster?
peel me or turn on someone else faster.
Yes, they swap targets, right? It's about swapping targets. This is taking way too long to kill. There's 3 towards the drag pit right now. You two are playing up. Now they turn. I think I saw this live.
Oh, you're watching this game?
I was watching this game, and Gwen ends the game on you guys.
Yeah.
I was watching this.
Yeah.
Because you guys actively, like, they put you to force a choice, and you guys chose to commit all 5 rather than pushing out your waves. We need to think about actively, can we actually afford to take this fight? Right? League of Legends is a game of turns. In your laning phase, it's a huge game of turns. Who's going to go first? Are you going to commit on your E as Veigar, or is she going to try all-inning you and then you E her? If you E her, will she W? Are you playing your E when she doesn't have W? Are you forcing her to waste all her energy so she has to W? Right? Because remember, when in your W as a Kali, you get more energy. So are you actively forcing her out? And instead, you're not actually making her choose these choices. You're subconsciously having these choices imposed on you. Remember how we talked about that way back when, that first example of when she tried all-inning you here, she forced you on a choice. You chose one choice, right? But she had 2, and she chose like the best case scenario for herself.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully, and I'm so sorry, I don't know how long we've been yapping. It looks like the timer says 2 hours for your 22-minute game or something.
Dude, I'll say really quick. This is like, I feel like I've sat through a lot of coach people talk. I don't know if I have anything I've disagreed with that you've said, and that's like relatively impressive. Like, I think you're doing a really good job. Very, very.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So,
I would hope. I'm former TL, so I would really hope.
Yeah, but I mean, you're doing a good job.
Thank you. But yeah, I'm sorry if I've been yapping your ear off here. It's 28 minutes, and I
No,
know this
I mean, no, it
is.
was great. This is what I'm here for.
But yeah, so the more that we work together, though, right? So like, I'm not trying to come from this area. I just want to make this blatantly clear. I'm not trying to come from this area of I'm saying this organization I've previously been with, I'm this rank, I'm this. I'm not coming from the area of I'm better than you. I'm coming from the area of I will learn through you, you will learn through me. It's a mutual relationship. If you do good, I do good. If I do good, you do good. We are here to learn, we are here to improve, and we are here to grow together, but more importantly, grow as a team. And so if you have anything that, and I love that Tech was saying that he has nothing to disagree with, but realistically, if you have anything that you want to disagree with, 100%, it's an open book conversation. Coaches get stuff wrong, coaches get stuff right, players get stuff wrong, players get stuff right. And this is all, after all, right? I'm watching your game with the ability to pause and talk for 2 hours versus you were in the moment. But we're also doing groundwork so that you're subconsciously thinking about these things so that the next 30-minute game, you already have 2 hours worth of information of what happened when you did this last time,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. So these things are, even though I'm, yapping away in your ear, these are going to be subconscious to you where you're thinking actively now, all right, well, this person is going to play this matchup like this because I have prior experience of a colleague having to do choices, yada, yada, yada. Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's just going to be second nature. But the more that we talk together, the more we have sessions, the more that we have scrims, game days, drafts, whatever it may be, League of Legends related or mental health or psychology, whatever wise, right? Whatever it may be, whatever topic, I am happy to help you. Just reach out. I'm free whenever. I coach for free. I don't think charging for coaching is beneficial at all. I want the scene to grow. So just let me know, man. And that goes for anybody in the call. So yeah,
Okay.
thank you guys for joining me for
Sounds
the last
good.
2 hours. It's been fun. Yeah, do you have any questions, Chenergy, or anybody else?
Yes, quick question. So if we go back to, because I think a lot of this is kind of a domino effect from how I played the first like 5 to 10 minutes of the game. So
Do you want to go back to the first 5 or 10?
yeah, so like basically if I were to redo like Akali versus Veigar here,
Yeah.
how am I playing like what I imagine is like the first 3 to 5 waves I think are some of the most important because that kind of just
100%. It
dictates
sets
the
the
rest of
game
the
tone
game.
for an assassin wants to close the gap. If you're not threatening the assassin early with your mage abilities and your first strike conversion of gold, then you're basically just playing like you're playing karma mid, where it's like your second support, like, and that's, I'm not trying to be rude, but you don't have any impact here. If
Yes.
you're not
No,
actively pressuring
I
for
100% agree. I felt like I was just a freeloader in this game where
Wait,
yeah, and for the most part, no offense, you kind of are playing like it because you are giving off of the energy of mid lane live, or sorry, jungle lives in your lane. Like based on your gameplay here, I can almost guarantee that you play heavy towards jungle. You're not playing for, like, jungle doesn't play for you, you play for jungle, which is a good mindset to have, but it should be a two-way street, right? So like your waves matter in terms of converting your waves to jungle and jungle presence to converting for your pressure mid. It's
mhm.
one tempo into another. Again, it's a concept that we'll get into when we talk about proper team play. It's called laddering, so tempo laddering. So starting from, bot lane, so support can roam. Now jungle can roam because he has a support with him for vision, and now jungle support can impact mid. All right, now mid jungle, whoever the fuck goes to Herald. Uh, what's it called? Herald Grub area. All right, now we swap to top. Yada yada yada. It's just laddering, but your playstyle is very echoey off that rather than at the start you need to define how the lane is going to go for yourself. You
Yeah.
can't allow jungle to bail you out. The telltale of a bad mid laner, I'm not calling you bad, but the telltale of a bad mid laner is when the mid laner is heavily relying on jungle and seems like a fish out of water otherwise. Because if you are versing me right now, for instance, I'm looking at this as a collie and I'm saying, this is barbecue chicken. This is so easy because this guy's not threatening me at all with Q. This guy's not zoning me off. He's not predicting where I'm actively going. He's not actively punishing me on waves. He's holding waves, in fact, for me. So even if I do roam, I'm not losing anything. When you roam, you're supposed to be punishing so that there's a net negative, or at least you're equalizing the gold that your opposing mid laner just gained off of the roam. When Talon roams, you're trying your best to quickly shove in because obviously, he has crazy mobility and yada, yada, yada. But you're trying to say, if he's getting 400 gold, I'm denying him as much gold as I possibly can right now. Or I'm getting vision on his jungle through whatever side he's not at, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Right now, you're doing neither of those
So
choices.
so so like for example, is like one possible game plan of like no, I just keep hard shoving waves so that she's
Yeah,
basically just stuck under tower. That gives me space to
not
land
even
free
that,
Qs.
because why would you not want to be stuck under tower here
Wait, as a collie?
as Veigar? Why are you not trying to be perma stuck in this game underneath tower?
Because Jarvan can
What
then
makes it easier?
gank me.
Yeah, but if you're actively able to track Jarvan, which when you're shoving in waves and when she's on roam timers, you can track him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you counter Nocturne?
Um
Vision, right? How do you counter a champion that wants to actively play out of vision, such as a Jarvan who wants to just not run at you linearly where you see his ass coming and then you can predict like if he's
if
going
you
to
just
EQ or
track
bar you.
and
Yeah,
play
just
away
tracking
from.
them with vision control. It's all about vision control for these dynamic junglers that want to gank. Vi, Jarvan, Zac, Amumu. I'm trying my best not to forget any like
Uh-huh. So
actual
I
decent
guess
junglers.
maybe I played too much for early game queues on stacking minions that it actively gave a
You are
Kali
playing.
trade windows.
Remember what we said. There is the draft identity, there is the synergy identity, and there is the interactions with our champion's identity. Right now, you are playing towards that first step. I need to play for Q stack rather than playing for. I need to make sure that I deny a Kali from trying her best to go as a dive champion
Yeah.
or have enough gold to dive. You're not denying her. You are just playing selfishly towards your goal. You, as a good mid laner, should do 50-50. Because if you're able to deny her, you're able to stack for free.
Yeah.
It's a positive domino effect.
Yes. Because if she can't pressure me at some point, I can just Q stack for free without even have to trading.
100%.
Because like first step 1 is
100,000%.
getting her health down with my Qs.
Yes.
Then she can't pressure me, and I can Q the wave.
Yes, but you're also stacking on her every time you're queuing.
Yeah,
creeps on
yeah,
her,
yeah.
So it's still positive for you.
Yeah, that makes
And
a lot
your
of
first
sense.
strike, it's even more positive for you.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Okay, that
Yeah.
I think makes a lot
But
of sense.
again, keep in mind that like from the beginning, I still would suggest honestly the summoner area.
Yes. No, I
into
think that makes more
Resolve.
sense.
Yeah, and then you play the Roa Seraphs. I think that would be way better for you in this matchup because first strike, again, you proc it, she shrouds, and then you're like, well, damn, I only got freaking 5 gold for this shit. Like, what was the point? What was the point of first strike here, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not going like super ooga booga offensive, then it's like, well, I guess this rune was wasted. Because it's like if you're playing Dark Harvest Kha'Zix and you only have 2 Dark Harvest stacks, are you gonna one-shot somebody?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah.
From full HP, probably not. Versus if you have like 30 stacks or even like a guaranteed like electrocute, you're like, okay, I can actually deal damage now. Wow, this is nice.
Yeah. Okay.
You said you've been playing since season 2, so a better example for you would be like when all the junglers were going Conqueror way back when. You'd see Conqueror in Italy, you Conqueror Kha'Zix, some of these typical assassins that would go Conqueror. Their damage is ramping up. At 12 stacks Conqueror, you're getting 13.6 AD or AP. And so that's exactly what you're playing towards. You're playing towards that long fight. First Strike is not a long fight rune. It's a quick, easy Dark Harvest adjacent rune where I'm looking to all in you on this burst as long as my First Strike timer is going. I'm printing gold.
Yeah.
Very akin to what Tech said about the TF passive thing. I'm getting free gold from nothing. That is what First Strike is. But you're not printing gold if you're not actively poking.
Yeah.
And your poke windows are too small. Right now, realistically, you're only poking. Again, no offense. I'm not trying to say this to like bring you down or anything, but you're only poking with Q. And in one cycle of First Strike, you're poking with 2 Qs. Versus a Summoner area, you at least have that follow-up damage to continuously berate her with and add a lot more oomph even to these Qs.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I'm gonna go eat dinner if you don't mind.
Yes.
But
we've been going. This